things like the title page, the contents page, the headers being used, not proper numbering of the pages, the glossary, which I know a few of you have had bother with, also the bibliography and the appendices. Is everybody clear on what we're going to be covering?
Yeah.
Right, okay. Yeah. Is anybody having any problems with any of those areas?
I was just wondering how many words you need for the glossary.
Right, no problem, Morgan. I'll actually show you that. What I'm going to do is I've got an old report and I've actually condensed it back to text. And the glossary is also in there. And what we're going to do is we're going to work through the points one by one. So therefore on the video it will show you exactly what to do with them. So when we get to the glossary, it'll explain what you've got to do, what your minimum word count is, what your maximum one is, and the way it's laid out. Would that help?
Yeah, that's perfect.
Right,
thanks.
Okay, no bother with that. Anybody get any other issues with anything of the other stuff like the appendices, etc.? If you're not sure how to do it. Everybody's very, very quiet. Okay, right, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this up. I'm starting from the beginning. If you can do this, I apologise, but if there's one person in the class that's not sure, we're better to cover it. I hope you can understand that, okay? So, next up in our fun-filled list is I am going to bring up, now I just need to get back to the side of this, because what I've done in the Word document is I have brought in, this is one, as I say, that's been brought right back. It's from basically it's from last year's class. Okay, now what I've done is this is the title page. If you do not know how to put a title, if you do not know how to put a title page in before your introduction, it's quite simple. Click at the start of the introduction, so you've got your flashing cursor. Press the control button on your keyboard and also the enter key at the same time. That will now bring in a blank page above what you've been typing so far. Okay, that might help some people if you weren't sure how to do that. So I'll show that. I'm going to leave that one in because we actually need a page for the contents page when we put it in. Okay, I'll start off with the title page. Now you'll notice that all I've done, or rather all that this particular student's done, is they have taken the title, basically what is in the introduction in the first sentence, and made it into a title. And that's the easiest way to get your title onto your, basically onto your the subject onto the title page. It's a straight transfer from one to the other. After that, now please do not, please do not type the words your name here. I want your actual name, please. You would be amazed how many people forget to change that. And then the date of submission. Now you can either put it in straightforward like such, which is just the date in its own, or you can put in like so if you want to. Okay, that's the basics that are required. Required for the title page. If you want to put an image below that, you can. So you can either do it just straightforward as text, or you can do it as that situation with an image below it. Now, if you look at everything else you need to put in the report, apart from the writing PowerPoint, which you either have or well, I'll send you another copy in case you need it. It shows you the difference between the two pages, so you'll understand what we're meaning with that. Is everybody okay with title page?
Yeah.
Right, thank you. Right, I'll move on. Okay, there's one other wee thing we've got to do is I'm going to move on to numbering the pages. Now, the title page should be different from every other page in that it should not have a number. If you go to normally add title pages in here, it will normally number every page. So I'm very quickly going to show you how to get the numbering into the document, but without a number on the first on the title page. So if we're looking up here, you are looking for insert, And then from there, go to the middle of the section that says header and footer and click on page number. Now, some versions of Word will also have this function on basically on the left hand side, but with most of them it's actually in the middle now. You go to bottom of page and you select either plain number 2 or plain number 3. For the purposes of these exercises, I'm going to go with plain number 3. Now, as that stands, it has put a page number in each footer, or rather it will do when I actually confirm it. Okay, oh, sorry, that's fine, it's okay, right, so. Hold on, something's happened, let me check. Right, apologies if I did something wrong there. I'll go back and do it again. Right, okay, so, let's just say insert, page number, bottom of page, and number 3. Okay, and we'll just close it like such. There we go. So we now have page numbers, hopefully, on all of the pages. But we do not want a page number on the title page. And for that reason, basically, we need to change it. So if you click in the footer again, double click will open up the footer. And then from there, you'll notice under the options, you have one that says different first page. Click that. And then close the header and footer. And this is just one of these days, it doesn't like me today. Under normal circumstances, it would take that one out, but it's not doing it. I love computers sometimes. It should be down as a different section.
So should the contents page be page number 1 or page number 2?
It will be, it should be, sometimes it'll come in as 1, sometimes it'll come in as 2. It doesn't actually matter. Because normally what happens is the contents page will only pick it up from the headings, which will come to next. So the first thing you'll see in the contents page will probably should actually be introduction. Once we put the table in, you'll see what I mean.
Okay.
Right, okay, and let's have a look and see this is what now. Yeah, that's us now. So that's us now. Okay, so we've got basically, we've got no number on the title page, but we have got numbers on every other page. Are we all okay so far? Yes or no? Yeah, right, okay. Yeah. Next up, the headings. 2 types of headings you'll have in a page. You either have a main heading or a subheading, depending on the kind of depending on the information that you've got in that section. What you do is, as you can see from up here, as it stands at the moment, all typing in this document is normal. But we don't want that. We want certain things to change. So select introduction, and then you click on heading 1. Select legislation, and we click on heading 1. Now those are main section headings. I'm actually going to just move this down slightly so much as the rest. We have subheadings in the legislation section. So Equalities Act will be heading 2, which will be slightly different. Okay, and the Brexit process again will be heading 2. Does it make a lot of difference as it stands? Well, it will when it actually gets to the contents page. So I'm quickly going to put the rest in. Okay, highlight, heading 1. Highlight, heading 1. Now you'll notice that the way I normally do this is I will have 2 blanks between sections and 1 blank between a title and the section joining onto it. Okay, so heading 1. There's nothing wrong with leaving it that way if you want it. It's just my preference for this. Okay, so recommendations says heading 1. And finally, conclusion. Now, what should happen is when I put the conclusion one in, it will probably knock it over to the other page, which it does. You never, okay, in a report, you never leave a a heading hanging. In other words, it should never be in a situation where you've got a heading at the bottom of one page and the text at the start of the next one. They should all be joined together. Also, if you've maybe only got maybe 1 or 2 lines plus a heading at the bottom of a page, move it on to the next one. It just looks better in terms of having the whole section together. I'm going to zoom out so you can see what the situation with this is at the moment. We've only really looked at it in terms of the main sections. But as you can see, one thing I'm going to do now, because if you actually zoom in like that and check the whole thing, you can see if everything is tidy. So what I've noticed is the effective exit is a little bit far down, so I've moved it back up. Ideally, with a report, one of the key areas with it is it should look professional. Therefore, it's not a case of you should not have any massive gaps between sections. Like suddenly you've got 3 sections, then there's 2 blank pages. Get the pages out. If you don't know how to do that, no problem. I'll show you how to do it if anybody wants me to go over it, if you're not sure on it. Notice we've still got the blank page here. Now that blank page will contain the title, basically the contents page as we go. Now what I'm going to do here is I'm going to stop at the moment. Again, as I say, it's not very good when you've got it like so. So I'm going to do that. If you actually want to get it to go to the top of that page, basically if you press Control and Enter, it automatically puts the first heading at the top of the page. Have you ever been in a situation where you put something in and it will not go? You either can't get it all to go over one page, or it doesn't seem to work no matter what you try. Have you ever came across that? Like you've maybe got a conclusion heading plus a couple of lines on one page, and even though you try to get it to move down, it won't do it. Has anybody came across that? Yes or no?
No.
No, right, okay.
No.
If it ever happens to you, then what I'm doing there with that section, which we go into the heading and basically and putting Control Enter in the keys, that forces it down. So it will not jump back. So if you ever came across that problem, which some students do, that is how you would fix it. Okay. One other thing I would say is I'm noticing in pages 4 and 5, we have part of a sentence at the beginning of page 5. If you find that when you're checking, go to the start of the sentence on page 4 and move it down. That was silly. Hold on. Okay, and that will move it down. And again, just so it looks better, you've got everything on that sentence. It then makes more sense. Are we okay? Yes, no.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah.
thank you. Okay, so I'm going to leave that for the moment. I know we've still got glossaries, bibliographies, and that to do. Okay, but the reason why I'm going to do it is I'm going to go on and put in the contents page as it stands, and then I'll show you, if you don't know how to add the other areas into the contents page once you've completed them. Everybody okay with that?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go up to the famous blank page. Now this will either work or it won't. It's one of these things. Sometimes it will automatically tag on to the page before. If it does, again, I'll show you how to fix it. So what we're going to do is we want to put the contents page into the document, and it's going to go in page 2. Okay, so for this one, you go to the References tab at the top, which I'm hopefully now indicating, directly above the zoom. And you'll notice in the far left-hand side, it's got Table of Contents. Now, if you click that on that tab, either choose number 1 or number 2. We'll go with number 2 for basically for this one, okay? And then click that. If your numbering is correct and your headings are right, it will automatically go in, as you can see. Now, if you remember when we were talking about the table of contents, as I said to you, it started at introduction. And the reason why it started at introduction is quite simply because it's the first page that is numbered after the contents. Okay? So it's now, you've now got a table of contents with its own heading, and you have the page numbers which should match each section on the report. On the legislation section, the bit that says the Equalities Act and Brexit process, if you remember, we used heading 2 on that. That's why it's slightly indented, because they're subheadings. If you had the same thing in one of the other sections, then it would do exactly the same thing. Everybody okay so far?
So should you do the contents page after you've completed your report?
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay.
I'm going to show you what to do if you've got anything to add. I've only put this in early just to show you how it looks. And if you want to move it down the page, if you think it's too far up, just basically click before the word table, and then basically press the enter button down, then click off of it like so, and it's maybe in a better position in terms of how things look. I'm just going to see if it's having an effect on the information below. It hasn't, which is good. Okay, so that's where we are in terms of the contents page so far. But the good thing about this is, if it's been done correctly, if I click on here, it gives you the option to update the table. Now that means that if you've put that in because you finished your main sections and thought, I'm really, really tired, I'll do the glossary tomorrow, you can go in and do the glossary in your main report and then press update table, and it will automatically add it in. And I'm going to demonstrate what I mean just now on that. Now, the thing about the glossary of terms is, obviously the heading must be correct on this one, the sample one, so it's basically went in. But I'm now going to show you what the glossary of terms looks like, which I know is a bit of concern for some people. And I'm going to move back to full page in a moment as well, so I'm not leaving you just like this. Okay, glossary of terms. Essentially what you're doing with this, okay, is you are just giving the term and you're giving the meaning of it. I've just noticed she's basically this student didn't put it in alphabetical order, however. So Brexit, and what does it mean? The withdrawal of the United Kingdom from the European Union. Okay, so what you're doing is you are picking up terms or phrases that you are not sure what the meaning is, and if you think a member of the general public won't know exactly what it means, and you put it on this list. Is that clear?
Yeah.
Is everybody okay with that? Morgan, are you okay with it? Because I know you were a wee bit worried about this.
So do you do as many like terms as you can?
Well, I would say I will accept anything over 5.
Over 5, right? Okay,
over
that's
5.
fine.
Okay. I've had some people have given me maybe 10. I've had some people have given me 4 pages worth. It's entirely up to you.
Okay.
But what I would do is I would look through everything you've put in your report, or if you're looking at the main, basically the main basically your main source when you're trying to answer the areas, and you come across something you're not absolutely sure what it means, the chances are somebody else doesn't know what it means either. I would take a note of that, go into Google Dictionary, find out what it is, and then include it in your glossary.
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah.
So that's us in terms of glossary. Is everybody okay with that? Or is there anything you want to ask about it?
No, that's okay.
We're okay? Right, okay. Fine. Okay, so next up, bibliography. This is always great fun. This is the bit that people go, what? Okay, now, unfortunately, in this particular one, all the, because it's a previous report, all the references are in the correct format. But I'm going to show you how we create the references in the first place, okay? And then we'll take it from that. Now, you use a piece of software, which is online, and it's called Cite This For Me. Has anybody came across it before?
I used it the other day and it works pretty well.
It was, but it does work pretty well. All you need to be aware of the fact is that the references are quite, they're different depending on exactly what you're actually trying to reference. For those of you, are there a lot of you that have never used this?
Yeah.
Right, fine, that's okay. Only needs one person to say yeah, and that's enough for me to go over it. So in your search box, it's CITE. Now it might actually come down and actually give you, and it has in this case. There's one called Cite Them Right, which is fine, but the problem with that one is it only looks at one style of reference. There are many styles. Cite this for me will actually cover a lot of them. So I've clicked the button. Okay, and it's taken me in. Ignore all the ads. This used to be really nice, no ads, and it was brilliant. Now they've changed it. It gives you different styles of citations and basically references, and you click on the one that you've been asked to do. Now, to give you an idea, I'm going to click on more, and you'll now find there's absolutely millions of them. Okay, but we don't want that. What we're going to use is Harvard. Now, Harvard is the one that is most commonly used. But you may come across Boston. You may be asked for Boston at some time in the future. That's one that some universities use because they just want to be different. Okay, so I'm going to click on Harvard. Now it's then telling me what the source is. So can anybody there that's got a reference at hand, can you tell me whether it's a website or a book? And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask you to tell me what your reference is. I'm going to put it in and show you the thing working. Okay, does anybody have a reference at hand? Yes, no?
No.
No, right. Does anybody have a reference, or if you don't have access to them just now, that's okay, but just tell me. So has anybody got a reference, and we're going to have to make one up? Right, okay, we've only got so many time on this, I'll make one up. So we'll assume that it's a website. Okay, so you click on website, and then in here, you either put in the URL, the website address, or the keywords for what you're looking at. So let's just say, for instance, you are looking for something relating to Pottermore. Does everybody know what Pottermore is? If you don't, it's basically a Harry Potter website type thing. So we'll put that in there and we'll press search. And what it does, it then gives you options based around that word. If you have the complete address, it will be more specific for that. So if you've actually got the home address of the website, put that in, it will reference the whole thing directly. So we'll say that we're happy with this one. Tick on that and then press cite. Okay, so what it does then is it tells you what it's got, what they've got, and what they haven't got. So we found the article title, the website title, and the URL, but it could not find the authors, the publisher, and the publication date. So we press continue, and it will give you the option of putting in any other information that you might have. I know it's not that. I know she did the Harry Potter books, but I don't think she did the website. But we'll put in J.K. Rowling anyway. Okay, well, we looked at it. Gives you the access date, 7th of May 2020. You can change that if you have to. If it's something that you looked at months ago, and you want to change, you can change the access date. It's not going to cause a problem. Once you've done that, you click complete citation. At the moment, as you can see, it's in yellow, but that won't be the case for long. Okay, but it's giving you the details regarding that. That is a citation. Sorry, a citation stroke reference. Are we okay with that? Can everybody follow that? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Right. Okay. So say you want after that, you want a new reference. Remember, we've got a minimum of 5 here. Okay. So you just click on add new reference. Now this time we'll say it's a book. So the reference will be slightly different. So this time it's asking you for the book title, the author, or the ISBN. That's a library number in the back of the book. Okay, so we'll put something in. Somebody give me a book title, doesn't matter what it is.
Lord of the Flies.
Lord of the Flies, right, fine, okay. Lord of the Flies. Doesn't matter about the basically about whether you've put in the capitals or not, it should pick it up. There we go. So we've got different information on this. William Golding, okay, Lord of the Flies. Harold Bloom is the publisher, okay, and they have a date. So we'll go for that one and cite that. So this is what, again, this is what we've found, but you'll notice it doesn't say there's anything missing at the bottom. It's got everything it needs. So we continue. If there's anything you still wish to answer, like if you want to put pages in, like maybe you've looked at maybe pages 24 and 25 only, you can put that in there if you want to. Once you've got the information that you need, again, just complete citation. And you will notice it comes in above the one that you had in before. And you just repeat that process for every reference that you need. Everybody okay with that? Hopefully it's quite straightforward.
Is there a way that you can copy and paste that?
I'm about to show you how to do it.
Right, okay.
Okay.
Thanks.
All right, okay. Okay, so what we want to do now is we want to copy your references over. Fair enough? So ignore copy and text citation. Okay, basically you basically just copy what you want over. So copy bibliography citation. I say that's copying it. Ignore this. Just press on don't show me this again. Now you'll notice it's now changed and essentially it is in plain text, okay? After you've got it to that, even if you want to download to Word, you can do that. See at the top. Download it as a docx. It's going to put it in as a separate file. Right, it's not going to let me do it. This is the thing, basically just because it's wanting money off you and don't really want to pay it. So, once you've got it at this point, two ways of doing it. You can either select what you need, okay, for each one, but if you're going to do it that way, remember and take this over. I'm going to try this again. It's saying citations successfully created. The problem with this is they keep changing the thing in terms of how you move things across. Some people just basically copy and paste directly as it is across and then take out the bits they don't need. Okay, but I'm going to go back to the document for a moment. Okay, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to put in another blank page. Okay, so this again, this is because I don't want to get rid of the references that have been here before. Okay, so I'm going to try and copy it across and see what we get. Now, if you go to, you can either keep it the way it is, you can merge it, or you can take it as text only. So let's see what it looks like as text only. That's only because I only highlighted one line. If I highlighted the whole thing, it would have given you that, and I'll go back and do that just now. Now, the one thing to remember with this, someone is trying to get me on chat, I think. Here we go. Right, okay, Tegan, it does go into the contents page, but I've not added, I purposely did not add it in because what I want to do is add it in to show you how to add something separate in if you're maybe doing so much one night and then go back to it. It's very, very easy to put it in afterwards, and that's the reason why I'm doing it this way, okay? It will be in the contents page once we're finished. Hopefully that helps you with that. Okay, so I'm going back to that, and this time I am going to actually try and take the whole thing. Now, obviously there'll be some of this we'll need to take out again, but that's okay, that's not an issue. And all I'm going to simply do is copy. Go back to the report, as we were doing, and this time I'm going to paste it in. Go with A, so it's only the text. I guess ready all the other information, right? Okay, so as you can see here, you've got different areas. It gives you all sorts of text. The one you're wanting basically is the one that says basically in your bibliography. Okay, so that part can stay. That part can stay. You do not need that bit. That can go. Okay, likewise the term your bibliography, that can go, you're just starting basically at Bloom. Also the in-text one can go, as you can see, you've got 3 different types of, means that's your reference in, and again from the same thing you would do the same with the other one, and it's just a case of repeating it that way. Okay, so we know, again, we're just taking that bit, the bits out that we do not need. And I said that bottom line you don't need. And you just basically do it for all, as I say, you only need a minimum of 5, it depends how many you've got. But that's essentially what you would do. That's it now on, basically in Harvard format. As you can see with the website, it's got an access date. With the first one being a book, it's not got an access date. Okay, are we all right? Everybody okay with that?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. Right, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the real bibliography. Okay, and what I want to do is I want to actually check the text type, etc. So I'm going to change bibliography again to heading 1. Okay, just check everything else. It should be in normal text. I'm not going to take the risk. I'm going to go down and do it that way. And again, that's just to ensure that it's not going to show up in the contents page. If you accidentally make that a heading of any type, it will show up in the contents page. So that's the bibliography. We know the number's 8. So we're now going to go back to the contents page. And if you remember, I said at the top, if you just click up here, you'll get an update. It will give you the option of updating the page numbers only or the whole table. If you added a section, update the entire table. And then that's your bibliography in the table of contents section. Everybody okay with that?
Yep.
Yep, okay. Okay, so that just leaves us one to do. And that one is the appendix. Or rather the appendices, because you've been asked for 2 on this. Okay, that bit I'm just going to take out. We don't need that because we've already done it. And I'm also going to take that back. There we go. So we have the bibliography, and after that we have the appendices. Okay. You've been asked for 2 appendices. I've left one. There's one here just to show you what it can look like. So you've got whatever it is you're putting in the document, followed by a very, very small caption at the bottom explaining what it is. Okay? You will notice that you always start, if there's going to be more than one appendix, you always start with the term appendices, and that again will be heading 1. Your appendix 1 heading, because it's a subsection, will be heading 2. Everybody clear?
Yep.
Right, great. So you then move on to your next page because we're going to put a different one in. So your heading, to get it done at the same time, is going to be heading 2. And then you need to decide what you're going to put in there. Now, normally what happens is each appendix has got a different type of information in it. So that basically is a sort of timeline. But say, for instance, we wanted more information, maybe information on the actual Brexit vote. So what you do quite simply is, first of all, Google is your friend. Although I need to take it off of this first. But let's get away from that. Okay, we won't take that out of that. And what I want to do is go back on just plain Google. Which doesn't seem to be coming up. Okay, no problem on that. Oh, I hate this. Give me 1 second. I'll need to do a stop share on this for a second. Right, okay. I am just going to minimize it. Nope. Okay. Right, so then let me do it. Brilliant. Okay, so let's get back in. I am Right, I'm going to close chat. It's just sorry about this. It's just to get some room on this. And what I then obviously want to do is I'm just basically looking for a website. The problem is, wait a minute, this might do it. So these things always seem to be turned up underneath every tab you want. There's an X under there. I'm trying to click. Got it. Right. Thank you. Right. There we go. Can you see the page? Can you see the table? Rather, the page. Sorry.
No.
No, we can just see you.
Right. Okay. Fair enough. Right. I'll find out what's going to. You can just see me, so you're not seeing what I'm seeing, basically. Right. Okay.
Could you tell me like what font it should be?
Certainly. The details are actually in the. You normally go with it. The standard font is normally, well, except either Calibrate or Arial, and it's usually I'll accept 11 or 12, but no higher than that.
Okay.
Okay. That's the details for font, etc. are in the how-to. But basically, sorry, actually, maybe the other one, but in one of the two PowerPoints has got it on in a bit more detail. I don't think I've ever had so much problem trying to get Google up on page in my life, I tell you. Right, we're going to try this again. Okay, are you seeing the Word document at the moment? On screen, is it still just me?
It's just you.
Just me, right? Okay. Okay. Right. Okay. I think basically what's happened is it's just because there's two different things on this, and that's why it's not working. Right. Okay. Right, I'm going to stop share. We're off share screen at the moment. I'll put that back on and see if that makes any difference. Okay, right. That's the one I'm looking for. Right. So I take it now you can see the City of Glasgow screen.
Yep.
Yep. Thank you. Can you now see Google?
Yep.
Right. Great. Fantastic. Okay, so what we're doing is, as I say, with the appendix, we're looking for information to go into it. So what I'm going to just type in Google quite simply is Brexit votes. Okay, we'll go by region. Okay, and then click on images. Find the one that you want to use. We'll try using this one. Okay, right click and basically copy the image. Go back to your document. Again, to appendix where appendix 2 is going to be, and just right click and paste, but this time keep the formatting. If it's too small, then obviously you can increase the size of it. If you can get onto the main page, sometimes it just looks a little bit better. Okay, but we know that that is basically voting by area. So at the bottom, you put quite simply my area. What I suggest with that bit is you make it size 9 and also in italics. It's just so that you've got the text there is separate from what you would normally have in the document and also center it. So that is now your appendix 2. But one thing you need to do with an appendix is for each one you have to link it back to the main body of it. So see because that's Brexit voting by area, you need to go all the way back to your Brexit section. We'll do this a quick way. So go back to your Brexit section or Brexit process section, and at the end of it, open brackets, C, these two, close brackets. Simple as that. Okay, and so they know it relates to that particular diagram. Again, same thing as you did before, italicize it. Okay, and that's you've referenced it, but that's you linked it back. You would do that for both appendix. That is all the extra information now in, and all you now need to do is actually just finish the thing off. Remember, as I said to you, in terms of getting it as neat as you possibly can helps quite a lot on this. The neatness on the presentation is really quite paramount. It's got to be like that. The only thing we've not done at the moment is put that into the table of contents, so we're going to change that. Again, table of contents, update page, entire table. Okay. We've now got appendices, the appendix section header, plus appendix 1 and appendix 2. And that, provided you remember to put your name in, is a complete report. Anybody get any questions?
None.
No, nothing. Everybody okay with that? Anybody get any questions on what we've done? We've just basically went through all the points and explained how to access them. This one, as I say, is recording. There'll be a recording. It'll either be a My City link, or it will send a copy to everybody. With this, that way, if you want to play it back, if there's something you can't remember as you're going through it to finish it off, then you can look back and refer to it. Okay. Anybody get any final questions before we continue, or anything at all you want to answer questions about, whether it's to do with the rest of the unit or your course, anything like that at all? In terms of the actual showing you stuff, that's me finished for today. So, anything you want to ask me?
Could I just ask a quick one?
Yeah, of course you can, yeah.
See, after we finish this report, is that us done for this unit? Or is there going to be
No, you've
another?
got one more assessment to do, which is preparing a PowerPoint. Easy peasy, you'll get it done really, really quickly. And the PowerPoint will be based on some of the content in your report, so you'll have done the research already.
Right, no worries. Thank
Okay.
you.
And that'll be the last one. Okay. As to whether you will actually present the PowerPoint, that at the moment is open for debate. We're trying to figure out the best way of doing it, given the fact that obviously you'd be trying to do it over Zoom, which could be quite difficult. But more about that once everybody's at the point where they've completed the report. Okay. Anybody else get any questions?
Would you be okay going over the recommendations bit again?
Absolutely, no problem at all. That's what I'm here for. Okay. So as I said, that's why I said anybody get any other questions, you might think, oh, wait a minute, how do you do that again? Okay, recommendations. This time what I'm going to do, if it's still there, is what I'm going to do is I'm going to come out of this and I'll go in and I'll put the report up again and give you an idea of the kind of stuff that basically that this particular student's put in under recommendations. It's really going to depend on what the characteristics you've chosen are. Okay, remember that the basic guideline to recommendations is in the how-to, but it might help you if I show you more exactly with an example. That might be better.
Yeah.
Okay, right. So I'm going to put you off this for a minute. I'm sort of rather on this. Okay, so you need to know that bit. I'm just going to go back off of that. Okay, it's really just to get this up again. Right, okay, so we're back with the report, the recommendation section, number 5, page 5. Okay, so you'll notice that analysis of problem areas, recommendations, it's actually quite short. Now, it depends on the way you've tackled this. I'm going to make that the full page so you can see what's going on here, okay? If you have put through your specific recommendations when you were doing the analysis, then the full recommendation section can actually be a general one relating to everything. In the case of this student, they decided to concentrate on trying to maintain the Equalities Act during after Brexit takes place, till something's organised to take its place permanently. That's one way of doing it. It's basically your ideas on how you can approach this. It's the
So is
only
it basically like your opinion on it?
you can put in your opinion. Try not to use I where you can. As you can see, the student
Right.
hasn't done it. But what they've done is they've come away with a couple of recommendations. One, the United Kingdom government should be us to create a deal in order to continue the Equality Act. Okay? Another
Okay.
recommendation is the government should implement a law to state that equality and human rights under the Equality Act cannot be used as a bargaining tool in future deals. Fair enough, if there was one. Okay? But you might look at, say for instance, you might have chosen, we'll go for disability as one of the characteristics that you've chosen to look at. Now, for those of you that are interested, there is loads and loads and loads of stuff on the Brexit effect on disability. If you want to be more specific on that, you could look at learning disability, physical, okay, or or emotional disability, any type at all. And you'll find quite a lot of information on it. Okay, so after looking at information on the area you want to look at, you might think, well, if they did that, either they do that or they shouldn't do that. It can be taken either way. It could be something that you maybe want them to do, or it might be something you want to take away because it might make the whole process simpler.
Okay.
Are you okay with that?
Yeah.
Did it make sense to you?
Yeah.
Good. As long as I've not confused you, that's the main thing. Okay, but that's an idea of the kind of stuff you can put in recommendations. Anybody else got anything they would like to add? Any questions?
No.
No. No, we're all going. We've all had enough. Okay, hold on. I'm trying to get back to. Right, what's going on here? Let's try that. Ah, there we are. I couldn't actually see where you were on this for a minute. There we go, got you up now. Okay, so if anybody get any questions on anything else regarding the report?
No.
As I say, thank you, Morgan. As I say, what I will do is I will put a copy of this, basically of this session on my city, or if that's not going to work, I'll email you a copy individually so you can refer to it and play it back. If there's something that we've covered that you think, wait a minute, I can't quite remember how to do that, it'll give you a reference point on it.